Hi there, welcome to my views on news. Two news stories. Firstly, a quick operation was conducted by Fano fighters in Gondar city last night. I think I was the first one who broke this news this morning. And we've received more details about this operation. It seems like a similar operation which was carried out by Fano fighters in Bahirdar city a few weeks ago. What was the target? How successful was this operation? Successful from Fano's point of view, and obviously from government point of view. Government suffered casualties reportedly in this operation. Secondly, Ethiopia is considering the use of another port in coming days. Ethiopia does not want to rely only on Djibouti's ports, while Djibouti wants to stop Ethiopia's Somaliland MOU. Ethiopia wants to use other ports no matter what happens. Whether the MOU with Somaliland goes ahead or not, Ethiopia has, in principle, decided to diversify its use of foreign ports, reportedly. Firstly, viewers, a few weeks ago, we saw that Gondar and South Gondar and Gojam Fano fighters launched an operation in Bahirdar city. Quick operation, and back then, if you remember, Fano fighters attacked camps of militia members, Bahirdar militias in Bahirdar city. And some prosperity party members, their houses were attacked too in a quick operation. Fano captured weapons too. It was a very quick operation. And a few days after that, I said that similar operations could be conducted in other parts of the Maha region too. Back then, more than a month ago, I received information that Fano's next target would be Gondar city. The sources which gave the information, uh, I gave assurance to them that I won't break this news. And when Fano fighters were planning this Gondar operation, I knew that it's going to happen in a few weeks' time. And I mentioned that in some live chats as well, if you remember. I said that Fano's next target would be a big target. And what happened in Gondar last night was the result of planning for several weeks. Fano carried out a diversionary attack in Gondar first. Around 48 hours ago, Fano groups pushed towards a Zezo defense camp in southern part of Gondar city. Military Fano clashed there. It was basically a diversionary attack. Fano groups wanted to divert the attention of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Main operation was conducted in Gondar city last night, around 12 to 24 hours after the first attack in the southern part of Gondar city. They entered central Gondar city behind Kiranio Midhyanilam in Miraki sub-city. They carried out this operation. Again, camps of police and militia were targeted, like we saw in Bahirda. Camps were attacked. Unknown number of casualties of police and militia members. Silence, by the way, on government side, not a single statement about these casualties, but reportedly several police and militia members died in this attack. Secondly, Fano fighters had advanced intelligence about the Prosperity Party members and those people who are actively supporting PP and military in the operation against Fano fighters. And in Meraki sub-city, reportedly, they stormed several houses and they kidnapped several people. Less than 10 have been kidnapped, reportedly, in Meraki by Fano fighters. They took them away. This is what I confirmed through some people from the ground. Fano suffered almost no casualties. I mean, I could not confirm any casualties. Maybe Fano fighters, they're not acknowledging their losses. Military silent, Gondar city government silent, Gondar police silent, but they suffered minimum or almost zero casualties, while they killed several police and militia members, and they killed prosperity party people too in Gondar city. Who conducted this operation? South Gondar Fano, North Gondar Fano? Difficult to say, because the attacks on Zezo defense camp was carried out by South Gondar Fano. This entry in near Kabul-18 and in Meraki sub-city maybe was the work of North and South Gondar Fano. Difficult to say. I could not confirm the name of the group behind this attack. Gondar has been relatively quiet. No fighting in Gondar. North Gondar Fano group silent, dormant, not supporting main Fano group's operations. But it seems that now Fano groups have sent a message to Gondar elders, Gondar people, that if they continue supporting military, continue supporting prosperity party, Fano fighters will fix them. It was an assassination type of operation involving assassinations, involving kidnapping. So some PP members were killed in this operation reportedly, and obviously police and militia members. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopia has decided, not just in principle but practically too, that it wants to use more than one ports. Ethiopia has been relying only on Djibouti's ports for decades. Ethiopia has been accusing Djibouti of blackmailing Ethiopia of increasing port tariff. Now Ethiopia wants to use other ports too. It wants to have ports on lease. Difficult for Ethiopia because its MOU with Somaliland is facing opposition from Somalia. The MOU could not translate into an agreement. How long will it take? We don't know. But even without the MOU, Ethiopia can use Berbera port of Somaliland. Somalia won't object to Ethiopia using Berbera port, but Somalia does not want Ethiopia to build a naval base in Somaliland or to get Somaliland's coastal areas on lease. So Somaliland's Berbera is one of the options for Ethiopia, but another option is also being pursued, and maybe in coming months Ethiopia could start using this port. Kenyan port of Lamo. A few months ago, a few weeks ago, a top Ethiopian delegation visited the Lamo port and Mombasa port of Kenya too. And they inspected the road from Lamo port to Ethiopian border, which passes through Moyale. Oromo Liberation Army has significant presence along this corridor. If this corridor becomes operational, it would be within the reach of Oromo Liberation Army fighters. Reportedly, talks are underway and Ethiopia is planning to use Lamo port for fertilizer imports. It means that from Djibouti, Ethiopia is going to divert its fertilizer imports to Lamo port of Kenya. South Sudan also wants to use some ports because we know that South Sudan's export of oil is seriously disrupted because of fighting in Sudan. South Sudan uses Sudan's ports for oil exports. But South Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya signed some understanding, the region understanding to use Lamo port a few years ago, but the project could not be fully implemented. Now, South Sudan is looking to use other ports too, not just Port Sudan. Ethiopia also wants to diversify use of ports. It means Lamo port is going to handle Ethiopian and South Sudan's imports in coming months. Talks are underway. Reportedly, port tariffs are being discussed. It is becoming difficult for Ethiopia to use Djibouti's ports for imports exports because of war between Houthi fighters and Americans and Westerners. That is why Djibouti ports are not able to fully accommodate and receive all Ethiopian imports. That is why Ethiopia is turning towards Mombasa port. These days, I think Ethiopia is using Mombasa port of Kenya because Ethiopian imports are not arriving on Djibouti's port because of the conflict in the Red Sea. So Kenya is the new destination for Ethiopian imports and exports. And let's see what happens to the MOU which Ethiopia signed with Somalia earlier this year. Will it translate into an agreement? Will Ethiopia start using Berbera port? That remains to be seen. Hard times ahead for Djibouti, by the way. Djibouti trying to stop Ethiopia Somaliland MOU. Even if it succeeds in stopping the MOU, Ethiopia does not want to use Djibouti's ports solely. It wants to use other ports too, like Kenyan port of Lamo and Mombasa, reportedly.